Welcome everybody to the 40 Finance channel. My name's Jeff Beers. Today I'm looking at Gilead Sciences stock. They are in the news prominently right now as one of their drugs, Remdesivir, has shown good signs of helping people who have the virus that are in ICU. And with that news, Gilead Sciences stock is shooting up the charts. And the question here today is it a good investment for the long term? Now, always as a quick disclaimer, my stock analysis and picks are for entertainment purposes only. Please talk to a financial professional before taking on the risks of stock investment. Of course, if you do enjoy stock market analysis, investment ideas, and personal finance videos, then definitely subscribe to the 40 Finance channel. Thank you for all the supporters out there. All right, so I mentioned Gilead being in the news over the past couple days, and that's because they've had a couple drug studies come in that show that their drug, Remdesivir, has helped patients who are ICU patients, right? Folks that are already in intensive care, recover from the virus, some of them within a couple days of receiving treatment. Now, the study is so small. I mean, we're talking about like 100 people. I think 68 people in one study. China had another study, but they had to cancel it because they didn't have enough people who qualified for the ICU experiment. It is important to note that this is kind of an end-of-the-line drug where, hey, things have gotten really bad. We're not sure if this guy or gal is going to make it. So Remdesivir comes in the ICU. It doesn't prevent, at least as far as we know now, and it's not an OTC, over-the-counter kind of thing or prescription pill. It is a hospitalization treatment. All right, let's take a look at Gilead Sciences stock today and try to see if this Remdesivir news can make a big impact on where it's going. I'm in the office early today, and Gilead Sciences stock at close yesterday was $76.54. You can see pre-market here at 9 a.m. It was already up to almost $85. That's a 10% swing on these news releases that are coming out. On the 52-week range, Gilead's been as high as $85.97 and as low as $60.89. Obviously, today they have a chance to break out of their 52-week range onto a new high. This is a stock that offers a dividend, currently at 3.5%. You got the PE ratio of 18:14, and even though PE ratios are kind of squishy right now because no one's really sure about forward guidance, Gilead and other health companies might be one of the few categories where the PE ratio, I would say, is more solid. Medical is still in business, though you would have to start to dig in and ask with the Gilead, you know, how many prescriptions might be affected, how many diagnoses don't get run during this time of closure, but we'll stick with the PE ratio of 18 for now. Gilead is a strong company from a financials perspective. You have $24 billion cash on hand, and while you do have $25 billion in debt, that's a really simple 1-to-1 ratio, which is stronger than a lot of companies you're going to find out in the stock market. All right, looking at the Tip Ranks dashboard as we always do for best performing analysts. This was refreshed this morning. They had several analysts come in with revised ratings based on yesterday's news. So it's not an old chart by any means. You have 9 buys, 7 holds, and 2 sells as of today. I'm sure there's more analysts who will update their positions on Gilead, but right now it's a mixed bag. Median price target of about $76 is obviously a slight downside from today's anticipated price of $84. We have a high bar of $89 $80 and a low bar down to 62. So if you're thinking about investing in Gilead and you're saying to yourself, well, this Remdesivir could save the world, it could certainly save lives, but I don't think it's as big of an opportunity as most news readers would imagine. And that's what I'm going to get into here next. All right, found this interesting article on Bloomberg that talks a little bit about, what would be the price of Remdesivir and other of these sort of pandemic drugs that are on the table right now. And skipping ahead to the point here, there's several that can be produced for as little as $1, is obviously the headline. We look down to Remdesivir, Gilead Sciences. Remdesivir could be manufactured from between $1 to $29 a course, a study published Friday found. So right off the bat, you've got a manufacturing price, and that's where the second bullet point, which I did not highlight here, but it's saying treatments being studied sell for hundreds of times their cost. So for the sake of example, we are just going to say that Remdesivir sells retail price of 100 times its production cost. And I think that that's kind of fair. They're going to be under mass scrutiny for whatever price they assign this drug, and it would be a massive PR flop if they tried to 1,000x the price. Further down in this article, the suggestion is that Remdesivir can be manufactured for about $9 in mass. So we're going to assume 100x the $9 is a $900 price for a course of Remdesivir. And we're going to use that calculation to figure out how much impact can this drug have financially on Gilead Sciences' current revenue stream. All right, so following the logic here, the first thing we need to figure out is just, and this is all napkin math, right? This is all napkin math. We're just trying to get a high bar of what is the opportunity, right? How big is the opportunity for Gilead if this news even proves to be conclusive and everybody's running to the hospital trying to get in on this. So looking ahead to trying to figure out, hey, we know that Remdesivir is only good in ICU cases, at least so far. So how many people go to the ICU when they're dealing with this health scare? And according to Barron's, it works out to be about 25% of those hospitalizations were treated in the ICU. And that goes back to the number that right now we've had 41,000 hospitalizations in the United States as of the time of this publishing. There's probably been more, but what we know right now, at least at the time of this publishing, you had about 10,000 ICU cases, right? And that's not going to get into the intubation or anything like that. You got 10,000 ICU cases. So right there in today's world, the Remdesivir has a potential market of $900 times 10,000. Now, of course, we know that the virus has not ended, that there's more, more to come and more outlays to be had, and much more data to be collected. But just for today, we'll pretend that everything here is accurate, and we'll say the Remdesivir has $900 times a potential customer base of 10,000 people. All right, so let's think about how much money does Gilead Sciences make today. And I grabbed this pretty little chart from their investor relations page, which is just a highlight of Q4. Okay, so just Q4. This is not year to date. And in Q4, they had $5.8 billion in product sales. All right, so that's a single quarter. I don't know if you extrapolate that times 4. I don't know if Q4 is a great quarter for Gilead and Q2 sucks or something like that. But just for fun, let's extrapolate by 4 quarters, and you've got a company that's making, at least $20 billion. At least $20 billion in product sales. And then I did the breakout over here where I'm moving numbers off into like insane ratios that we have not seen today. And I'm going to say across international, okay, international, which is probably the better way to look at this. What if you had 500,000 ICU cases? All right, today in America, we've seen about 10K. What if we had 500,000 ICU cases internationally? And, you know, I think that's a big number, but maybe it's not, right? And maybe things get worse, and that becomes very real. You've got $1,000. I padded it another 10% in Gilead's favor. $1,000 per treatment round. Currently, they have a potential audience of 10K. I'm giving them a potential audience of 500,000. That would work out to be, if every single person, and you see where this is going, if every single person who went to the ICU across all international waters had to buy Remdesivir to live, you're looking at $500 million sales for Gilead. Guys, not a lot of money. Okay, it's not a lot of money for Gilead. This is not the type of thing that changes an entire company. If you're buying on the news or you're buying the FOMO on Gilead because of the success of what we've seen so far, then you're probably making a mistake as a stock market investor. If you like Gilead for their other underlying properties, and you see on their handy chart here, you know, the other drugs that are in their pipeline, they've got a series of clinical trials going on and other things, then that's great, right? But for sheer purposes of the news that's here right now, it is not a reason to buy Gilead Sciences, because this is barely going to give them a plus 10% quarterly sales. If it landed all in this quarter, and they traditionally make $5.8 billion in a quarter, and then you see Remdesivir come out and treat maybe 500,000 people, right? Maybe. That's the audience. That doesn't mean it's going to get prescribed to all those people, right? So then you have $500 million, which is great, right? We'd all take $500 million. But when you're Gilead Sciences and you're making $5.8 billion a quarter, it really doesn't do much except bring good news, PR play to the company, and frankly, it's an opportunity to give them spotlight. My bottom line is, you know, buy Gilead for who they are. Buy it if you believe in them. Compare them to J&J. Compare them to other health stocks. If you're only going to play one, look at all of those stocks very closely. It's not that Gilead is a bad company. I don't think they're doing anything fundamentally wrong. It's just buying the news in this case. I don't think it just adds up financially. That's my personal opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed this stock analysis on Gilead Sciences. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you on the next video.